That glint of steel in the dim light, the whisper of movement you almost didn't hear. Yeah, that's the rogue. The master of shadows, the trickster, the one who gets the job done with, well, brains and a bit of daring. For so many of us, that blend of cunning and capability is just endlessly appealing, isn't it? Welcome back to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to getting up to speed on complex topics.
Hey there. The rogue taps into that part of us that appreciates ingenuity and getting ahead through smarts, not just, brute force.
Right.
They're the ultimate problem solvers, often in the trickiest situations.
Okay, so we're not just here to admire the archetype, cool as it is. We've been down in the dungeons, so to speak, with the brand new 2024 D&D rules, specifically digging into everything that makes the updated rogue tick. We've scoured the latest guides to bring you the essential intel on their new features, the crucial changes from the previous edition, and really how to wrap your head around playing this incredibly versatile character.
Exactly. Think of this as your expertly guided tour to the 2024 rogue. We've sifted through the details of the comprehensive guides, pinpointing what's truly important and how this new iteration evolves the classic rogue we know.
So whether you're a veteran rogue player eager to see what's changed, or maybe someone considering dipping your toes into the shadows for the first time,
Or just curious.
or just curious about the latest evolution of this iconic class, you're in the right place. We're aiming for those aha moments, the surprising insights that make you go, okay, now I get it.
Right. Let's dive right into what makes the 2024 rogue so effective. At the core of their combat ability is still that devastating sneak attack.
Ah, yes. That beautifully brutal burst of extra damage. What's the crucial thing to understand about making the most of it now?
Well, it's still a single high damage attack, and you can trigger it once on your turn.
Okay.
What's interesting, though, is that once per turn wording. It opens up some cool possibilities, like if an enemy provokes an opportunity attack on your turn and you hit, you can apply sneak attack then, even if you already used it earlier in the same round.
Oh, interesting timing interaction.
Exactly. Now, to really maximize that damage, you still want advantage on your attack roll. Think about those classic rogue moves like hiding, which, importantly, now grants you the invisible condition in 2024. That makes it even better for setting up sneaky strikes.
Invisible condition. Okay. That's a nice buff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or there's the steady aim feature, which we'll get to. The other key is having a second chance to hit.
Like two-weapon fighting.
Exactly. If you're using two-weapon fighting, that bonus action attack gives you another opportunity to land a hit and deliver that sneak attack. That extra D20 roll significantly boosts your chances of connecting and, ramping up your damage per round.
Right. So it's about creating those opportunities for that single powerful strike.
Yeah.
And having backup options if the first one misses. Makes sense. What about what they bring to the table beyond a knife in the dark?
Skills. Skills are where rogues truly excel. They get more skill proficiencies than any other class. They're the ultimate jacks of all trades, really, for out-of-combat stuff.
So the skill monkeys.
Totally. And to make them even better, they get expertise early on, letting them double their proficiency bonus in a couple of chosen areas. They even get a second helping of expertise at level 6.
Okay.
However, there's a notable change. In the 2024 rules, expertise no longer applies to these tools.
Whoa, really? Interesting. So no more double bonus to picking locks right off the bat with expertise.
Not directly through expertise, no. Proficiency with these tools is still vital, of course, and as we'll see with the Thief subclass, they still have ways to become master locksmiths.
Oh, okay.
Just not with that initial expertise bonus. It seems the focus of expertise is shifting a bit more towards general knowledge and social skills, maybe.
Got it. So there's still skill powerhouses, just a slight shift in where that early expertise lies. What else is a non-negotiable part of the 2024 Rogues Toolkit?
Cunning action. It's absolutely fundamental to their tactical flexibility in a fight.
Still a bonus action.
Still a bonus action on their turn, yeah. They can disengage, dash, or hide. Disengage is crucial for those melee rogues who want to get in, stab, and then gracefully, or not so gracefully, retreat without provoking an attack.
The classic hit and run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hide, especially now that it can lead to the invisible condition, is the go-to for ranged rogues looking to set up that sweet advantage for their next shot.
Okay. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. There's a brand new feature for martial characters in 2024, and our slippery friends are included. What's Weapon Mastery all about?
That's right. Weapon Mastery is a new system. It grants characters wielding certain weapons, like the finesse and light weapons rogues favor, additional properties they can use in combat.
Okay, like what?
One that's particularly relevant for rogues is Vex. If you hit a creature with a weapon that has the Vex property, you can grant yourself advantage on your next attack against that same creature.
Oh, nice. Another reliable advantage source.
It is. It's another fantastic way for rogues to reliably trigger their sneak attack, maybe even if they can't hide or use steady aim.
Okay, so we've got the core strengths kind of nailed down. Now let's talk evolution. What are the significant ways the 2024 Rogue differs from the 2014 version that players really need to be aware of?
Well, as we touched on, the way expertise interacts with these tools has changed. That's a big one.
Right.
Another noticeable difference is with these can't. It still serves as that secret language for rogues, the underworld code. But now it also grants them proficiency in an additional language of their choice.
Oh, cool. The little extra flavor and practicality there.
Yeah, just a nice little ribbon.
Definitely adds to that sense of having connections. What about when the daggers start flying? Any big combat changes?
Oh, yes. First, steady aim. It's no longer an optional feature tucked away in subclasses. It's now a standard rogue ability you get at level 3. Yeah. If you don't move on your turn, you can use your bonus action to grant yourself advantage on your next ranged attack.
So ranged rogues have a very reliable way to get sneak attack without always needing cover to hide.
Exactly. It offers a trade-off.
Yeah.
Stand still, get advantage. Then we have Cunning Strike, which is a really significant expansion of the rogue's combat options.
Cunning Strike? What's that?
Basically, instead of just dealing that extra sneak attack damage, you can now choose to sacrifice some of that damage, some of those dice, to apply a variety of powerful rider effects to your attack.
Rider effects. Okay, intriguing. Give us some examples. What can a rogue do with that?
So you could choose to poison your target, potentially giving them the poison condition, or you could trip them, knocking them prone.
Nice. Battlefield control.
Exactly. There's also Withdraw, which lets you move away safely after your attack, sort of like a built-in disengage tied to hitting.
Okay.
And what's particularly fascinating is how this evolves. As the rogue levels up at level 11, improved Cunning Strike lets you apply 2 of these effects with a single sneak attack.
2 effects.
Yeah. And then at level 14, Devious Strikes unlocks even more potent options like Daze, which imposes disadvantage on attack rolls.
Ouch.
Knockout, which can potentially render a foe unconscious.
Whoa.
And Obscure, which heavily obscures the target. It really shifts the rogue from just a pure damage dealer to someone who can seriously control the flow of battle.
Wow, that's a massive increase in battlefield presence. It sounds like the 2024 Rogue is much more than just stabbing and sneaking effectively.
Absolutely. They have so many more tactical choices turn to turn now.
What about some of the other level-based features? Any major shifts in when they come online or what they do?
Yes, definitely. Reliable Talent, that fantastic feature that means you can't roll below a 10 on skill checks you're proficient in.
Love Reliable Talent.
Right. It's moved earlier in the progression. It now arrives at level 7 instead of level 11.
Level 7, that's huge.
It is. It means those skills you've chosen expertise in become consistently reliable much, much sooner.
Okay, that's a significant buff. What about the flip side? Anything lost or pushed later?
Well, Blind Sense, which allowed you to perceive hidden creatures within a certain radius at level 14, that's been removed.
Oh, Blind Sense is gone.
Yeah, it seems there's a trade-off happening here, focusing more on that proactive control with Cunning Strike rather than passive awareness at those higher levels.
Interesting shift in focus. Anything else noteworthy regarding core class feature changes?
Slippery Mind. You get that at level 15. It now grants you proficiency in both Wisdom and Charisma saving throws.
Both. Nice. Broader mental defense.
Exactly. Broader protection against mental manipulation and magical effects compared to just Wisdom saves before. And finally, the Capstone ability at level 20, Stroke of Luck.
Always sounded cool.
It's been significantly revamped. Yeah. Now allows you to turn any failed D20 test, any D20 test into a 20.
Why? Any failed roll becomes a natural 20?
And 20 on the die. So guaranteed success on a crucial saving throw, turning a miss into a critical hit in that pivotal moment.
Yeah. That sounds like the ultimate clutch ability for those high-stakes, nail-biting final encounters. Okay, so with all these changes in mind, how does this shape how you might actually play a 2024 Rogue? What are the common approaches we might see?
Well, traditionally, rogue playstyles tend to fall into either melee combat or ranged sniping, right? And that fundamental split still exists.
Sure.
For a melee rogue, the emphasis often revolves around two-weapon fighting, especially now with weapons that have the nick property.
Nick property. Remind me.
If your first attack with a nick weapon hits, You get to make a bonus action attack with another light weapon. Gives you that all-important second chance to trigger sneak attack, potentially freeing up your main bonus action from cunning action if you hit first time.
Ah, okay. Synergy there.
Yeah. And with cunning actions disengage and the new withdraw option from Cunning Strike, those hit-and-run tactics become even safer and more effective. You can dart in, deliver your damage, maybe add a trip or poison effect, and then get out of harm's way.
So a more fluid, in-and-out fighting style. Makes perfect sense for someone who wants to avoid getting pinned down. What about those who prefer operating from a distance?
Ranged rogues will likely still rely on that classic tactic of sniking, using cunning action to hide after each attack to gain advantage on the next.
To peekaboo shot.
Exactly. While it's reliable, as we mentioned earlier, it can sometimes become a bit repetitive, hide, shoot, shoot.
Yeah, I can see that.
The introduction of steady aim as a core feature offers a really interesting alternative now. If you don't need to move that turn, you can just use your bonus action to get advantage on your ranged attack. It frees up your movement or potentially lets you use Cunning Strike if you hit without needing cover nearby.
Easy options, depending on the situation.
Nice. And looking beyond just combat, what kind of roles do rogues typically fill within an adventuring party? Still the same.
Pretty much, yeah. As the guides highlight, rogues are often a fantastic combination of the face the smoothhawker, the negotiator.
The scout, adept at exploration, finding traps, gathering information, and the striker, capable of dealing significant single-target damage. Their broad skill proficiencies and expertise allow them to shine in a wide variety of situations, both in and out of combat encounters.
Okay, let's really dig into those subclasses then, because that's where a lot of the unique flavor and specialized abilities come into play. What are some of the key updates to the 2024 rogue subclasses? Let's start with the magical one, Arcane Trickster.
Okay, Arcane Trickster. Big news here. They now have access to the full wizard spell list.
Whoa, the whole list, not just illusion and enchantment focused.
The whole list. That's a massive expansion of their magical potential. They also gain the ability to swap out a cantrip when they level up, which adds some nice flexibility.
Definitely needed.
Mage Hand Legerdemain is even more useful now, too. It lets them perform sleight of hand checks at a distance with their spectral hand, picking pockets from afar.
Yeah, nice.
However, Magical Ambush now has a specific requirement. The rogue needs to have the invisible condition.
Tying into that height change.
Exactly. It synergizes really well with successfully hiding in the 2024 rules. Versatile Trickster now lets them use their Mage Hand to attempt to trip a target, using the trip option from Cunning Strike.
Oh, connecting their magic directly to the new combat tricks. Clever.
Yeah, it directly links their magic with their combat maneuvers. And there's an intriguing, though maybe a bit niche, option to really lean into intelligence as their primary stat for spellcasting, potentially making spells like True Strike more viable for setting up weapon attacks.
Okay, that's a significant magical boost and some interesting tweaks for the Arcane Trickster. What about the more stabby one, the Assassin?
Right, the 2024 Assassin. The guides portray it as more of a consistent damage dealer in those crucial opening moments. Maybe less emphasis on intricate disguise work than before.
Okay.
The Assassinate feature has been completely redesigned. It's meant to be more straightforward to use and more consistently effective, but it no longer guarantees critical hits on surprised opponents.
No auto crits. That's a big change.
It is. But Surprising Strikes provides a reliable chunk of extra damage on the first round of combat instead. Infiltration expertise now centers on mimicking speech and handwriting, and a key improvement. Steady aim no longer reduces their movement speed.
Oh, that's handy for an assassin positioning themselves.
Definitely. Venom Weapons adds extra poison damage when they use the poison option of Cunning Strike, giving them a thematic boost. And while Death Strike still offers that potential for massive damage, it still relies on the target failing a Constitution saving throw.
Right, always the catch with those save or suck abilities.
Overall, it feels like a more reliable damage dealer in round one, maybe less swingy than before.
Gotcha. How about the psionically charged Soul Knife? What's new with them?
The Soul Knife sees some refinements. Their psionic energy dice are now explicitly tied to their rogue level, so it's clearer how many they have, and they regain one on a short rest now, which is nice.
Better resource management.
Yeah. Psychic Blades now benefit from the Vex weapon mastery.
The advantage setup again.
Exactly. Which can help set a sneak attacks. And they can now be used for opportunity attacks, making them more versatile in reaction-based combat.
Okay.
Their other core abilities, like Psi-Bolstered Knack for re-rolling failed checks and Psychic Whispers for telepathy, remain largely the same. They reinforce that role as a skilled operative with subtle mental powers and a resource you need to manage carefully.
Still managing those dice.
Soul Blades offers both homing strikes, giving a second chance to land a sneak attack if the first misses, and psychic teleportation for short-range tactical movement. Renmind is still their big once-per-day ability to potentially stun a foe with a save.
Seems like solid refinements for the Soul Knife.
And
finally, the master of gadgets and quick thinking, the Thief. What's changed for them? Big changes there, too.
the Thief maintains its core identity of speed and utility, but yes, with some really interesting tweaks. Fast Hands now allows them to use magic items that normally require an action to activate as a bonus action.
Great magic items as a bonus action. Wands and stuff?
Wands, scrolls, potions, other magical trinkets, yes. This dramatically expands their potential with magical gear.
That's huge for action economy.
It really is.
Yeah.
However, they can no longer use mundane items like acid or alchemist's fire as a bonus action. Those now require an attack action, changing their tactical use significantly.
Okay. Trade-off. Mundane items nerfed. Magic items buffed for fast hands.
Pretty much. Second story work is streamlined, granting a climb speed and letting them use dexterity instead of strength for jump-related athletics checks. Easier climbing and jumping.
Makes sense for a thief.
Supreme Sneak is now a Cunning Strike option. It allows them to attack without revealing their position to creatures they are hidden from.
So you can attack and stay hidden.
If you use that Cunning Strike option, yes. It enables those classic hit and fade tactics without needing to immediately rehide. Use Magic Device has also been reworked. They no longer ignore class restrictions on magic items, but instead they gain an extra attunement slot, a chance to conserve charges on magic items, and the ability to use spell scrolls they might not otherwise be able to, even if the spell isn't on their list.
So different kind of magic item mastery. Extra attunement is nice.
Very nice. And Thief's Reflexes, granting them 2 turns on the first round of combat, remains a potent way to kick off an encounter. The Thief seems to have shifted its focus a bit, from mundane item mastery towards a greater synergy with magical items.
Fascinating. So a lot of evolution across all the subclasses, really distinct flavors now. Let's pivot a bit and talk about building a 2024 rogue from the ground up. How should players be thinking about their ability scores, the skills they choose, and even their species?
Okay, ability scores. Dexterity is still absolutely paramount for any rogue. King stat.
No surprise there.
Yeah, it affects their attacks, their damage with finesse weapons, many crucial skills like stealth and sleight of hand, their armor class, key saving throws, just everything.
Got it. Dex first. What else?
Well, for Arcane Tricksters, intelligence becomes a much higher priority now to power their expanded spellcasting.
Right, with the full wizard list.
Exactly. For rogues who want to excel as the party's face, charisma will be important for skills like deception, persuasion, maybe intimidation.
Makes sense.
Constitution is always valuable for increasing hit points, especially for those rogues who plan to get into melee. Don't want to be too squishy. And wisdom helps with crucial skills like perception and insight, plus important saving throws against mental effects.
So Dex is primary, then tailor the mental stats to your concept, and don't dump calm.
That's a good summary, yeah.
What about skill selection? Are there any that are absolute must-haves for a 2024 rogue, or any whose importance has shifted?
Stealth is practically non-negotiable for any rogue who wants to embody that sneaky archetype and reliably trigger sneak attack via hiding.
Still gotta be sneaky.
Still gotta be sneaky. Perception remains arguably the most vital skill in the game for spotting threats, hidden objects, secret passages. Everyone needs perception. Sleight of hand is now explicitly the skill used for picking locks. And a really nice touch is that if you're proficient in both sleight of hand and these tools, you'll use whichever modifier is higher and gain advantage on the check.
Oh, nice. Built-in advantage for lockpicking if you have both.
Exactly. Deception, insight, and persuasion are essential for those rogues aiming to be the party's negotiator and social manipulator, the face role.
Standard face skills. Got it. And how do different species synergize with the abilities of the 2024 rogue? Are there any standout choices, or is it pretty open?
Rogues are quite flexible when it comes to species. They aren't overly reliant on very specific racial traits like some classes might be.
Okay.
However, species whose traits don't compete for their bonus action are generally preferred.
Right, because cunning action and steady aim are so key.
Exactly. You don't want bonus action clogs. So halflings remain a strong choice. Their inherent stealth bonuses, their nimble trait, allowing movement through enemy spaces, and the always useful lucky trait.
Can't go wrong with halfling luck.
Pretty much. Humans offer an extra skill proficiency and a feat right at level 1, giving great customization potential. Elves also gain an extra skill proficiency.
Solid choices.
Yeah. When considering a species, it's worth thinking about how their racial abilities might complement the rogue's core mechanics and, crucially, their potential bonus action usage. Don't pick something that gives you another thing you always want to do with your bonus action.
Good advice. Let's briefly touch on feats and multi-classing, as those are key ways to really make a character your own. What are some notable feat options for a 2024 rogue? Any standouts?
For feats, Alert is always solid for boosting initiative, though maybe slightly less critical for assassins who already get an initiative bonus.
Sure.
Healer has fantastic synergy with the Thief's Fast Hands, allowing for bonus action healing with a healer's kit.
Oh, that's a cool combo. Bonus action heal bot thief.
Yeah, potentially very effective. Lucky is always a good fallback for those crucial moments, re-rolling bad dice. Magic Initiate can be very interesting for arcane tricksters looking to grab maybe Booming Blade or Green Flame Blade or a utility cantrip from another list.
Or find familiar.
Or find familiar, yeah. Skilled simply grants more valuable skill proficiencies if you want to be the ultimate skill expert. Sulker is excellent for ranged rogues who like to operate in dim light or heavy obscurement, helps with hiding after missing.
Good for snipers.
Piercer can enhance the damage output of their favored piercing weapons like rapiers, daggers, short swords, crossbows, and Sentinel offers opportunities for off-turn sneak attacks when enemies attack your allies nearby. That reaction attack can land sneak attack.
Always looking for those reaction sneak attacks. Nice list. And what about dipping into other classes? Are there any particularly tempting multi-class options for a rogue in 2024?
A single level in Artificer can grant access to some useful cantrips, maybe guidance, and potentially the thrown weapon fighting style if they plan on using daggers at range a lot. Infusions later if you go deeper, but that delays rogue progress.
Okay.
2 levels in Fighter offer a fighting style order. Archery is strong for ranged builds, 2 weapon fighting for melee, and the incredibly useful Action Surge for an extra action once per short rest.
Action Surge is always good.
Always good. A single level in Wizard provides access to a wider range of cantrips and some valuable first-level spells, including, as you said, Find Familiar, which can be a reliable source of advantage for sneak attack.
The Owl Familiar Flyby Help action. Classic.
The classic. Multi-classing with a rogue needs to be approached with some caution, though. Taking too many levels in another class can really delay the progression of their key rogue features like sneak attack dice and subclass abilities.
Yeah, gotta weigh those trade-offs carefully.
Yeah.
Finally, let's talk about the tools of the trade. What kind of weapons and armor should a well-equipped 2024 rogue be looking for? Pretty standard stuff.
Mostly, yeah. Rogues are proficient with finesse and light martial weapons. For melee combat, daggers and short swords are classic choices. Rapiers for pure damage, if not using 2 weapons. Especially look for weapons with a nick property if you're planning on utilizing 2-weapon fighting.
Right, for that bonus action attack synergy.
Exactly. The light crossbow remains a reliable ranged option for dealing solid damage at a distance. Heavy crossbow, if you can get proficiency somehow, maybe through a feat or race.
Oh, okay. And armor.
In terms of armor, studded leather will likely continue to be their go-to choice. It provides the best AC you can get from light armor without imposing disadvantage on stealth checks. Good balance of protection without hindering their key skills.
Studded leather. The rogue uniform.
Pretty much.
All right, we have truly plunged into the depths of the 2024 rogue. Wow. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground, from their core strengths and skills to the big changes, the intricacies of their subclasses, and how to build them effectively. To bring it all together for you listening, what are the absolute key takeaways from our deep dive?
I'd say the 2024 Rogue remains an incredibly versatile and potent class. It's still built around that core synergy of sneak attack and cunning action that hasn't changed.
The fundamentals are there.
The fundamentals are strong, but the updates introduce significant enhancements, particularly with Cunning Strike. That offers a wealth of new tactical options in combat, moving beyond just damage.
More control, more utility baked in.
Exactly. The subclasses have been further refined and updated, providing even more distinct and flavorful playstyles like we saw with the Thief and Magic items or the Arcane Trickster spell list. While some features have been adjusted or replaced, like Blind Sense or the old Assassinate, the overall adaptability and potential of the Rogue in the 2024 rule set appear to be significantly enhanced. They seem stronger and more interesting to play.
So for anyone out there considering playing a rogue in their next campaign, or maybe even for Dungeon Masters preparing to face off against one, what should they be pondering after our discussion? What are the key questions to chew on?
I think the crucial thing is to really consider how the updated subclasses and their unique mechanics fit your preferred way of playing. Which flavor of rogue excites you most now?
Yeah.
How will the new Cunning Strike options shape your moment-to-moment combat decisions? Will you go for the trip, the poison, the withdraw? And perhaps most intriguingly, which of these 2024 changes, whether it's the Arcane Trickster's expanded spellcasting, the Assassin's more consistent opening damage, or the Thief's newfound magical item mastery, which presents the most exciting and potentially game-changing tactical possibilities for you with this enduringly popular class.
Excellent food for thought. It sounds like this deep dive has provided a solid foundation for truly understanding the nuances of the 2024 Rogue, whether you're about to roll some new dice or just want to be prepared for whatever lurks in the shadows of your next adventure.
Absolutely. And at the heart of it all, the Rogue still embodies that spirit of adaptability and resourcefulness. They're the character who can find a way to thrive in even the most challenging circumstances. And the 2024 rules seem to have only sharpened those skills and expanded their potential in really cool ways.